Francophone, 2 fois président, passer le pouvoir à un anglophone. Si on était bien au pays, est-ce qu'on allait prendre la route de l'aventure? Amen, sur le président. Un pauvre qui vote pour celui qui l'a rendu pauvre. Si on était bien au pays, est-ce qu'on allait prendre la route de l'étranger? Amen, sur le président. À l'Assemblée, il y a un vieux. Vraiment. Au Sénat, il y a un vieux. Wonderful. À la présidence, il y a un vieillard. Dans tout le gouvernement, il n'y a que des vieux. Des vieux, des vieux. Des jeunes prennent le chemin de la Libye pour devenir des esclaves. Des jeunes prennent la route du désert pour entrer en Europe. À l'Assemblée, il y a un vieux. Sur le Tougon. Au Sénat, il y a un vieux. À la présidence, il y a un vieillard. Dans tout le gouvernement, il n'y a que des vieux, des vieux, des vieux.
Hi. Good day, the beautiful people of the Cameroons. Good day, the beautiful people of British Cameroons. And good day, the beautiful people of La République du Cameroons. This is a party political broadcast by myself, Maitre Mola Alex Ndiveli Sinke, the leader of British Cameroon National Party. Today, I've come to talk about the presidential election in 2025. The presidential election in the Cameroons is sans objet. Sans objet, purposeless, aimless, without any objective. It's a distraction, and I will tell you why. If anyone wants to be a candidate in a presidential election in the Cameroons, you have to do your due diligence. If you look at the presidential election since 1992, since ever multi-party politics was reintroduced in the Cameroons in theory, you understand that it has been a beauty contest. Although we know the Cameroon is very, very dirty, it's like a pigsty. I was there in 2022, but I'm not talking in that sense. When it comes to politics, politics is about people's life, people's livelihood. But in the Cameroons, whether it's the President Paul Biya or presidential candidate, the thing is a beauty contest. Or some of them, they go there to protect the incumbent, they pretend, they shadow him, they know they are not going to win. And because before you do anything in life, you should look deeply and understand how Cameroon functions. Because if you look at the Cameroons, since is it the 1960s until date, you will understand that the Cameroons is not being run as a country. It's owned by some foreigners, and they put some poodles and puppets to control. It's a continuation of colonialism. It's just that what we call choke eyes or bounty, they take some people with black skin, but they are white inside, and put them there, and colonialism continues. That's what is happening in the Cameroons and most French African countries. So I say the presidential election in the Cameroon is sans objet. I'll tell you why. Ever since the reintroduction of multi-party politics in the Cameroons, we have often seen what I call politics of personality cult. You see, the people who have been presidential candidates before, Mr. Paul Biya, Mr. Damjoya, Frundi, Hugwenleng, Ayapol, Kawala, Hamad, Gaga, Hamad. You see all of them, they just come there. They compete among themselves. They don't have any objective. They will never tell you in advance or produce to you a manifesto. They make Cameroon to look like a joke. And the same people are still there. The thing, politics is about joking about people's life. It thinks it's just to come in the street and shout about understanding the modus operandi between France and Afrique, especially when it comes to La République du Cameroon. I've been there behind the scene. I've been an activist all through my life like a boy. And we must distinguish activism with a politician. An activist doesn't necessarily want to get to power. You want social and political change. That's activism. Activism, you can do it through protests, social media, in different ways. There are so many ways that you can carry out your activism. I'll give you an example. Most of when I used to be an activist, ever since in the Cameroons, when like René Zengele wanted to assimilate our English educational system, we walk from CPC Bali, we stop it. That is activism. It ends there. Another one, most recently, some university students, teachers, and lawyers, they were beaten, some were arrested. I went to the British High Commissioner in London. I protested, and they were released. It ends there. That's activism. Other activism is like we fought for multipartism. I was not hoping to become a member of parliament. Boya University, I was not hoping to go there. And they gave us, it ends there. That's activism. So, politician is different. In politics, as a politician, I want to be a candidate, to compete, to win. But I'm not looking to be the next president of the Cameroons. I'm focusing on what is achievable. Is it possible to win parliamentary seat, local election seat in the Cameroons? Yes, we can do that in Northwest region and Southwest region, British Cameroons. That's what I'm looking at. When you're looking at the presidential election, you're wasting your time. You're wasting taxpayers' money because you have to start first. I often say, if you want to build a house, you must start with the foundation. And that foundation is parliamentarians and councillors. It is possible to get that. We have done our research. A lot of political parties in the Cameroons, UNDP, CPDM, SDF, Libra Domoka Molanjo, they have won parliamentary seat and local seat in British Cameroon. So it's possible. Most of you know, oh, an Anglophone. Maybe an Anglophone cannot be the president of the Cameroons. Most of you say that, but you're still fighting for it to be there. It's not only that an Anglophone cannot be a president of the Cameroons. Even people who are not sanctioned by France, they cannot still be the president of the Cameroons. If you're not sanctioned, if France doesn't say, yes, I want Idriss Déby's son to replace the father, you will never be the president. If France doesn't say, I want Ali Bongo to replace the father Omar Bongo, it won't work. If France doesn't say, I want Eyadema's son to replace Eyadema, it won't work. If France doesn't say, I want the Zaire president or whatsoever, Tshisekedi, because Tshisekedi is part of the regime, or the Mumbutus, or the same people to be there. It's just the same people. Recently in Gabon, a bodyguard will replace a president. You see, if you are trained as a military man, military are trained to do different things to defend the country. If you take a military person and put a military person to do the job of a politician, it's practically impossible. People think, especially in Africa, anybody can be a president. If I look at the presidents in Africa, Valentine Strauser, Samuel Doe, Mobutu, Museveni, Bokassa, you name the rest. These are people who don't have clue about running a country. You ask them about GDP, you ask them about interest rate, you ask them about economics, laws, or what. They don't even know. You take time to learn these things to be in that position that you can lead a country. But unfortunately, Africa is still a slave plantation. That's why you have leaders or so-called president in Africa. When they call them in African-China summit, they run like ducks. They go there. When you call them Francophonie, they run like ducks. 54 African so-called presidents, they go there. When you have Commonwealth, they run like dogs because they have nothing to do in their country. They go there. You have African-Russian Summit, they run like dogs. They have nothing to do in their country. African-American Summit, they run like dogs. Can an African, so-called president, can they invite two prime ministers in a European country to be at the same room at the same time? No. So that's why you just see them. And these African leaders or so-called president, when they come to the Western world, you see how they are humble. But when they go back to their country, they bully people. They kill their own people. They molest their own people. They treat their own people like a fly upon a pile of shit. And the oppositions in Africa, the so-called opposition, the non-functional opposition, they have been part of this rubbish. Because people like to force themselves into position that they are not fit. If they are given power to govern, they force themselves there. Why? The aim is to go there to practice nepotism, to steal taxpayers' money, to promote corruption. They don't have probity. They don't have integrity. Most often, the people of the Cameroons who want to stand for presidential election, they are like what? Jesus Christ, who we last heard of Jesus Christ in the Bible at the age of 12. Then he appeared again at the age of 33. You ask them, what were they doing at the age of 12 to 33? Fill in the blanks, we don't know. Tell me, what have you been doing? The Cameroons, they have been destroying it since 1960. What did you do? They changed the federal constitution in 1972. What did you do? SDF came up. The leader of SDF party was sacking all the members there, sacking all the people who created SDF. What did you do? And join, at the end of the day, SDF became part and parcel of what? CNU rebranded CPDM. What did you do? You guys are silent. Ladies and gentlemen, British Cameroon National Party have come to introduce a new form of politics. When at times, not that we don't like to join with other groups or political parties where we share the same ideology, but the problem is the Cameroons is so corrupt that the government of La République du Cameroun send people to infiltrate all the political parties, then they destroy it. We are aware of that in British Cameroon National Party. That's why, before you join us, we must do some background check, your criminal record. We must know if you have probity and integrity. We don't just accept any person to be a member of our party. We don't change. When we started talking about non-violent ways to change the Cameroons, everyone they were there. What? Killing people for ransom, making places to be ungovernable, shutting lockdown or whatsoever. We know those things. When we're talking about war crimes, everybody was there. Kidnapping for ransom, making people to rape our women and children. You never bother. But I see, when you look at your videos, people change like chameleon rather. You change. You can see all my videos, all my writing. For the last 35 years, I've been singing the same thing. I don't change. I was the only one who was saying that we can change the Cameroons through a non-violent way. So, people think you must stand for presidential election to change the Cameroons. But I'll tell you one thing, why presidential elections in the Cameroon is sans objet. I'll give you some statistics. In 1992, when we have the first multi-party election, reintroduction of multi-partyism, President Paul Biya of the CPDM political party had what? 39.98%. That's what Mr. Biya had. That's the percentage. John Fundi, who was standing for Coalition for Change, not SDF, Coalition for Change, he had what? 35.97%. That's what Mr. Fundi had. And Damjoya had, is it 19.22%? Okay, that was the closest. The closest was because it was 1992. Today we are what? In 2024. People are distracted. People don't care anymore. And if we think we can come that close again with the current system, electoral laws, electcam, a referee. Mr. Bia is the footballer and the referee at the same time. If we think we can ever go near that number, 39% and Coalition for Change 35%, you will never get it. Because after 1992, Mr. Bia made sure that the Electoral Commission and ELECAM, or the laws, they were so tight that nobody can stand during this election. So they made sure they tightened everything in the Cameroons. So that's why I will tell you, after the 1992 election, what happened? We had another election again on the 12th of October, 1997. These were the scores, because Mr. Bia have tightened the law. Paul Bia of CNU rebranded CPDM, chopped people their money. Paul Bia had 92.57%. Even if God stand for election, God will not have that amount. Paul Bia had 92.57%. A Cameroonian-born Frenchman, Professor Hungwenleng, had 2.50%. 2.50%. That's what Professor Hungwenleng had, the mathematician from France, who is Cameroonian-born. And again, after that, Mr. Bia took him and put him in his government. So in Cameroon, most opposition political parties, they create political party, hoping that they will stand and they will make them minister. They know they are not going to win. They know in advance. They know it's a fait accompli. They are there to benefit themselves. They don't care about the people. Still in that, the same election in 1997, Samuel Ebua had, 2.44%. Samuel Ebua. Can you imagine? Albert Zogan had 0.46%. So look at the percentages. What is the essence of having an election? Look, Paul Bia is having 92%. The second person, 2 point something. Next person, 2 point something. Next person, 0.46. So what's the essence? L'élection dans la République est sans objet. Except they have a constituent assembly. They change those things, nothing will change. On the 11th of October, 2004, what happened? Paul Bia had 70%, 70.92. That's what Paul Bia had in 2004. Fundi had 17%. Now Fundi was standing now like SDF candidate. Fundi was standing as SDF candidate and had 17.40%. Look at the gap. 70% for Mr. Bia, CNU rebranded CPDM, 17% for Fundi. Ndamjoya had what? 4.48%. Kawala had 0.72. So look at it. No, Kawala, that's in 2011. That's different. So remove that Kawala's one at the moment. It is Ndamjoya. So I say Ndamjoya had this 4.48. So look at the gap. Mr. Bia 70%, Fundi 17%, Ndamjoya 4%. You have the others. I don't even want to call it. So look, at the end of the day, we keep on doing the same thing. These people, do you think, what are they doing? They are just merely accompanying Mr. Bia. They know they are not going to win. They know if we don't change the electoral law, nothing will happen. These are people who don't have the Cameroons at heart. Even if all the oppositions, political party in the Cameroons, they merge, they are not still going to win, Mr. Bia. They are not. I'm the one saying it. Because you create a political party, have you got followers? When you go to the crowd, are they your members? Because you create a political party doesn't mean you have followers. If 300 political parties, they come and stand against CPD and Mr. Bia, does it mean they have the population behind them? No, because this is a beauty context presidential election. And since a thing, they don't talk about manifesto since 1992. They talk only about politics of personality court. If it's a beauty contest, Mr. Bia will always win them because Mr. Bia is mostly handsome than most of them because it's a beauty. I call it a beauty context because they never talk about policies. They have never. And one thing again I must always say, it's not only policies. Is it in the 2004 election? Fundi was not happy. Fundi said they should select him because he has got more, I don't know whether electorate or voters or MP, I'm not sure about that. But Fundi was annoyed that they selected Adabun Damjoya. He said that he should be the one to stand for the entire opposition. That's what Fundi was saying. But the irony is that most of these people, they can never come and stand and have political debate among themselves. If somebody wants to be the candidate for opposition or for government, why don't we have that presidential debate? I'm not afraid. Open it. Everyone should come there. If British Cameroon National Party is interested, they too will come and stand. We have that debate on the economic, on other things, on other issues, on Constitution, on France CFA. Then the people will choose. But you people want that they should just choose you when you sit and do monologue. We don't want this old style, old school of politics. We are in a new generation. We want debate. British Cameroon National Party want to debate with the leader of CPDM. Wants to debate with Bello Buba. Other political parties. We want to debate. Gone are those days that you sit on your sofa and you don't talk. People don't know what you stand for. They don't know if you can even spell your name. You stand there, you're a presidential election. We are not in the DME era anymore. This is 2024. The presidential election of 9 October 2011, President Paul Biya of La République du Cameroun had what? 77.99%. Mr. Fundi's percentage from 17% went down to what? 10.71%. Look, each time I see it's going, Mr. Biya is increasing his percentage. Minister Gaga Haman had 3.21%. Ndamjoya had 1.73%. The other one, he had 4%. So Ndamjoya is going down as we progress. Aya Paul Abin had 1.26%. So how do you want to challenge a system? A system that is a fait accompli. Are you just going there to stand, as I said, it's a beauty contest, you sit there and do whatever you want to do. The fun is, most of these presidential candidates, they have never come out with something different, like British Cameroon National Party. They do what Mr. Biya do, politics of personality God. The same people in the same party for 30 years, Ndamjoya have been there, he created a party, nobody can oppose him in his party. Mr. Biya created the party, nobody can oppose Mr. Biya. SDF created the party, nobody can oppose the SDF chairman. Same with the other political parties. And Ndamjoya finished, when he passed away, they handed the party to the wife. So these are people who are not serious in the Cameroons. It's not just about the government of La République du Cameroun. It's also about a non-functional opposition political party. I'm not the most smartest person on earth or the most intelligent people on earth, but as a politician, I'm not scared to debate with Mr. Biya, with Bello Buba, with Chiruma, with all other political parties because I believe I'm fit, I'm competent, I have the probity, I have the integrity to stand and challenge any politician. If you cannot stand and debate with your opponent, you're not fit to be a leader or a president or even a councillor or even a governor. You're not fit. All you do is to threaten people, to give presidential degree, high instruction, warning people. That's what you do. You don't threaten the electorate. The last election on the 7th of October, 2018, what happened? Mr. Biya of the CNU rebranded CPDM had 71.28%. The next person who came second, my university lecturer, Professor Maurice Kamto came with what? 14.23%. Look at the gap. And when Mr. Biya wins, you say, oh, he stole the election. Even if somebody should steal election, maybe in 1992, we could say the election was stolen because the gap was 39% and 35%. It was close. But when somebody is having 92%, the next person is coming with 2.5%. Biya had 70% in 2004, the next person 17%. 17%. In 2011, Mr. Biya had 77%, the next person with 10%. So how did they? I don't even understand, to be honest. We should be serious if you want to be an opposition political party. Because most of you are at fault, the opposition political party. When Mr. Biya comes, he stands on his personality. Opposition to the stand on their personality. We know manifesto. Most of you have been doing those things 1992. I started talking about manifesto before some of you are talking about it today. All along you have been standing for election. You don't even know what's manifesto. You think election is about this. I will never respect a politician who don't talk about policy or manifesto. You come and talk, I'm Pobia. I'm chairman of this party. I'm Kamto. I'm Bello Buba. No, in politics, I want to know what you stand for. I will not vote for you as an Anglophone. I want to know what is your policy. Have you got a draft constitution? Pre-draft constitution? If I take over, this is a social contract. This is what I will do. You sign it. British Cameroon National Party have got a social contract. Social contract with the people. If we win elections, we'll make sure that the two countries are recognized. We are going to make sure that English institution is in British Cameroon, French institution in French Cameroon. All those things that La République inherited from France, like ENAM, Gendarmerie, École Normale Supérieure, France CFA, Institut Pasteur, all those things, they will remain. Military tribunal, they will be in French Cameroon. Gendarme will not cross the border. We have police. We will use police in British Cameroon. And our police are community police. We don't need those type of policies that brutalize people like Longue. Police are civil. Relationship between, in Anglo-Saxon system, between police and the people is community-based. We don't have national police in Anglo-Saxon system, like Gendarmerie Nationale. Each community, they have different police. Each community different. Why? Because people are different ethnicity. So police, you interact with the society. Police are our friends. That's how we do it in the Anglo-Saxon system. The people of Seoul should have different police from people of Balinyonga, people from Objet, people, all the police are different. There's nothing like national police. The police in London is different. You have London police and city police in London. Manchester police have got nothing to do with London. Liverpool police have got nothing to do with London. Birmingham police have got nothing to do with London, because police is to fight crime. So it doesn't need to be national. You have to make the police to fit the system, the people. So you can never have a national police. Somebody in Garawa, the way they do policing in Garawa must not be the same way they do policing in Fako. So these are the mistakes. These are the changes that British Cameroon National Party wants to bring in the Cameroons. We've studied these things. You don't study these things, what I'm saying, in school. As somebody who have been practicing politics, even in the Cameroons, although I was not in a political party, I've always been a political beast. My mentors, they were politicians. I learned from them. I asked them questions. I came to the UK. I've studied, practiced politics for more than 20 years. I'm still a member of a political. I've learned. And we believe we are ready to take those things back home, to institute those policies and institutions. Mr. Biya, Dion Gute, a lot of the people who are in the government, they were once in the diaspora. They took those systems, the 1960s system and 1970s system, and instituted it in the Cameroons. Today, we have 2024 institutions. And once more, it's only right that the beer, my lecturer, Prime Minister John Gute, my lecturer Kamto, they should give us the chance. It is our time. When you were lecturing us in Guakele, you did not lecture us so that we should sit and go on retirement while you continue to be in power. It's time. Most of you should step back and say, we have done our best. Let the new generation come in. The October 9th, or is it 7th of October 2018 election, Mr. Biya had 71%, Maurice Kanto had 14%, Cabral Libi have 6%, Josie Oshua had 3%, Ndamjoya had 13%. Okay, look at the gap. Mr. Biya with 71.28%. The next person, Maurice Kamto, comes with what? 14%. So you cannot win these people. This machine, Elekam. The people who are working in Elekam, they have no power. The people who are in Constitutional Council, they have no power. That's a fact. They just give them something to read it. That's what happens. You can win. I don't know this guy, is it Aben Zonga? He said in 1992, when it was alleged that SDF, they won the election. SDF, they were more interested in collecting bribe rather than say, we have won. We won the seat or the presidential listing. They were receiving bribe. So people go there to get their personal money or to serve their personal interests. That's what they do in the Cameroons. And if you look, as I say, since the reintroduction of multi-party politics in the Cameroon, I've never seen all the presidential election in 1992, 1997, 2024, 2011, 2018. No single presidential candidate have ever come out with a program and say, this is our educational and training program. Education will be monotonous for us. Education will be monotonous. The state will not be interfering too much in education. Education and training, what is their policy? Nothing. When you talk about health and social service, what do we have there for over 30 years? Nothing. All they talk about is politics of personality cult. When it comes to taxation, ask an average person in the Cameroons, how do our custom, how do they tax our people? Our tax are not simplified. We want things like pay as you earn. If you don't earn anything or above certain level, you will not pay any tax. If you don't earn certain money, you will not pay any tax. These people, they don't talk about our tax. All they do is politics of personality cult. When you talk about our justice and policing, since 30 years, all the presidential candidates, none of them, they don't have any plan, but they want to stand as presidential candidate. What is the justice system of the Cameroons? How can they remove you from British Cameroons and take you to French Cameroon to try you in a military tribunal? Nobody says anything about that. We have two inherited culture. Then we have our custom and tradition, which is our ethnicity. And that's why we are calling for ethnocultural democracy after we have the equal status. Because the Cameroons was created, that country was born by two countries, two different institutions. Then taking into our consideration, we believe in ethnocultural democracy. All the ethnicity, they must be autonomous. Decentralization should focus on all the ethnicity. They should be independent, all the ethnicity. Then we have these two countries that came together. We have to accept that. That is our social contract with the people of the Cameroons. When you talk about local government, you see local government. Is it Farm Dongo? We go to Fako, the land of my bed, and go and impose city mayor there. Is that normal? City mayor must be elected directly by the people. We have to scrap this list system. You should vote for people, individual, not list. Because they take Mugu, foolish people who cannot spell their names. They put them in that list, then you vote for them. That's why when Mr. Biya was nowhere to be found, for almost 48 days, no MP can talk, no senator can talk, no councillor can talk, no governor can talk, because these people are poodles. They don't care about you. How many members of parliament will take your case and go and debate it in parliament? They are rubber stamp parliament. They are. Town planning, there is no town planning. Azujan, is it Ajudan Nyenti, a man in Boya, he came and constructed in my plot. I have the deed in the UK, signed by Fonfosi Yakumto in 1972. How come that somebody will come and construct on my plot? Who gave you that right? How can you? That my plot in Boya was bought. I have the documents with me, original. In 1974, the plot was born. I was not existing, almost baby. I was a baby. They bought that plot for me. But Ajudan Nyenti, somebody who is working, he knew it was my plot. The wife was working in transport when my late brother was there. They were staying in Finance Junction. They knew it was my plot. Somebody told Ajudan Nyenti, go and construct on that plot. Maybe you will compensate him. My plot was beside Nyen Gaston there in Bonduma. Nyen Gaston is my neighbor. All my neighbors, they know me there. They know that is my plot. Late Mr. Sampson was the caretaker of my plot. But the governors, the SDOs, they will plan and they will come and construct in my plot. But Mr. Ajudan Nyenti, I'm coming after you. You will break that house down. I'm sure you bring that house down before I come to Cameroon. You people are the problem in the country. Because most of you, Ajudan Nyenti, you need to be behind bars. That's a criminal offense to trespass and construct on somebody's property. You think I'm coming there? You pay me compensation for constructing on my plot. Because these are the things you support, this type of regime that is corrupt, because you people can continue with your corruption. And when I come there, that plot is my plot. I don't need to ask you. It's trespass. Anything that is there, I'll make it. It will go. Remove it from my land. Before I come to the Cameroons next time, make sure you break down your house. It's not your plot. You knew about it. You did it deliberately because you know of your criminality. Very soon, people will say, Bakwe people, they are wicked. Ajudan Nyenti, I understand you're not even originally from Boya, but you come. That's my land. That's where I was born. That's my tribe. You come and impose and build your house on my plot. You knew about that. People warn you. So this is what is happening. How do people, we look at town planning and we should make sure, even if a land is on register in the UK in 1925, you have to prove from time immemorial. You have to prove that Mr. A, B, C, like my land, all my neighbors, they sign on the deed. The four corners, all of them, they know me. Mr. Nyem Gaston, I grew up with them. The children were my friends. They knew that I was their neighbor. But because people want money, they will come and take people's land and construct it. These are the things we plan to stop. And we'll make sure people who steal land in Cameroon, they will have 50 years imprisonment. We'll be tough on that. 50 years imprisonment. They should spend their time behind bars. We should be tough on crime and the causes of crime. We come again about energy. Electricity. We have neon. I'm so neon that we have in Cameroon. We have the same electricity company here in the UK. I intend to write to them. How come that a neon in the UK, they have a perfect service? We always have light. The same company in the Cameroons. Why is it that we don't have light? We don't have electricity. Why? I intend to write to them to explain to me, how come, what are you doing in the Cameroons? How come that Britain, the electricity is so perfect, then in the Cameroons is not? They need to explain, because they cannot be taking money from taxpayer without explaining. There is no accountability. These are the social contract that British Cameroon National Party want to have with the people. Because the people are sovereign. They are sovereign. The sovereign people, if you borrow your powers to the president or to governors or what, it doesn't mean they should bully you. It doesn't mean they should beat you like longe. Again, since 1992, ever since the reintroduction of multipartism, no one single candidate have never talked about France CFA. Why is it that foreigners are manufacturing our money? None of them, they have never talked about why is it that we don't have our own bank? Because BIAC is not our central bank. I mean, if a country is sovereign, Britain have an independent bank, which is the Bank of England. It is their bank, it's not European Union Bank. So how come that we don't have a bank in the Cameroons? These are things we should be debating about. We don't have a bank. BIAC is a bank for CEMAC, this French colony controlled by France. It is not a bank for the Cameroons. How come that we don't have a central bank? Nobody talks about it, but you want to be president. We need that debate. British Cameroon National Party want to debate with everyone. We don't want people to go and fix, because I'm talking about debate now. Very soon you will hear fake debate among friends. We don't want that. Come and debate with a real opposition leader. British Cameroon National Party. Come and let's have that debate. Who controls our monetary policy? France. Interest rate? France. Who devalue our money? France. So how do you want to become a president of a country without knowing these things? Presidential election in the Cameroon, sans objet. Then the biggest problem now, the French Cooperation Agreement. La République du Cameroun signed to remain slave with France. Aïdjo signed that thing in 1959. People say, oh, Mr. Biya stopped it. No. The French Cooperation Agreement was simply that France will manufacture our money. Are they not still manufacturing our money? They are. France are control our socio-economic and political. Are they not doing it? They are. They control ENAM, ENS, Gendarmerie, all those things. It comes from France. Constitutional Council from France. National Assembly from France. Other countries have parliaments. They don't have National Assembly. The National Assembly in France was created after the French Revolution to draft a constitution. It was like a constituent assembly. We just copy and paste without understanding things. France shall have priority over our natural resources. It's still happening. France shall assist La République Cameroon military in case they want to overthrow the president of La République. France will assist them militarily. That's why Liomba, the first president of Gabon, when he was overthrown, France reinstated it. They created Republican Guard. That's a Francophonie thing. Republican Guard to protect dictators. After the first president of Gabon, Liomba, was overthrown, coup d'etat, France came and put him back in power. Then they created Republican Guard. Then they have to spread the Republican Guard in all those French slavery countries. La République du Cameroon, Senegal, all those slave countries. African countries are not independent. They are not independent. No single African country is independent. The day you will be independent is the day Alassane Ouattara will say, okay, the cocoa that we produce in Ivory Coast, we are going to manufacture those things in our country and create jobs. France, if you want our cocoa. Britain, if you want our cocoa. America, if you want our cocoa, come to our country. Do the finished product in that country and create jobs and export it back to your country. That's the beginning of the day we'll start seeing independent African countries. We still follow this IMF, World Bank, all those things. Don't we have economists in Africa to decide on our economic policies? We still have colonial structure. All of us will follow it. African so-called leaders, they went to China. They gave them how much? Milliard. Why don't you ask for technology? Countries, they exchange technology, not money. Money is just paper. As I speak, CDC, which is a property of British Cameroon and was created in, 1947. The constitution of CDC says you cannot export the products of CDC. I mean, you should only export the products of CDC. So we cannot manufacture it. We cannot have the finished product. The slave plantation is still there. You plant, you export. You plant, you export. They manufacture it, they sell it to us at very expensive rate. That is why the next 1 million years, If we don't change in Africa, nothing will ever change. It's easy to change Africa. The difference, democracy cannot develop a country. Democracy cannot. The Arab countries, they have kings, they have monarchy, they have dictators. The difference is that their wealth is being used in their country. Their petrol is in their country. Nigeria, Cameroon, other African countries, they have more natural resources than Saudi Arabia, Dubai. They rely mostly on oil or Qatar. But we have more, but we are poor. Because why? We don't control our natural resources. Slavery still goes on. Colonialism still goes on. Apartheid still goes on. So we are not independent. You can change president as you want. No one president will bring any change if we don't change the system, if we don't liberate ourselves from economic independence. The political independence is choke eyes, coconut, black people standing there for white people. That is political independence, ladies and gentlemen. When we sit, we want to say, we are different ethnicity, we should do things different. They say Cameroon have a centralized unity state. How can you have unity? Unity state simply means the central government have most powers. Let me say in Cameroon, all the powers. Okay, you have the powers. Power to do what? Embezzle money. Corruption. That's the power you have. What power have you got? Have you got power to construct roads? Deep sea port? Ring road? No. Power to steal money and send it to France. Power to lock up your ministers because you cannot control them. There's no accountability. That's what is happening. The system needs to be obliterated. We need a constituent assembly. Those who sit behind and use Mr. Beer like a trademark, a Coca-Cola bottle while you're ruling the country, this must stop. We need a constituent assembly. We don't need any presidential election. We need a constituent assembly. Those who refuse what? Peaceful revolution. What will happen? They will have what? People will revolt one day with arms. Because the government of La Republique, you are the people provoking the people. Since CNU rebranded CPDM, you guys have been in power from time immemorial. Are you not satisfied? Can't you go? Must you hijack or kidnap a country? You guys have been in power since 1960 until today. Can't you go? You people are chop broke pot. You don't know how to develop a country. You always steal money, spend it on expensive car, women, vanity things. That's what you people do in CPDM. That's why most of you spend your time abroad. Hospital, you come abroad because you cannot construct a hospital. You cannot construct a simple motorway. Presidential term in Cameroon is 7 years. That 7 years is like 8 years in America, 2 terms. So why should you have 7 years? People come. Tony Blair was in power approximately 10 years. Tony Blair did a lot for 10 years. He did a lot for 10 years. People go into power for 4 years. They do a lot. But the CNU rebranded. CPDM have been in power for 60 years. All you want to do is sagat. You guys want to destroy Cameroon. You guys have never really been voted by the people of the country. Why? Most often you have less than 300 million voters voting for the president. That's rubbish. At least a president should be voted by at least 50% of the voting population. Every time you say people should register for election, you don't need to do that. Take people who are at the voting age, automatically register them. I sit here, my local council, they are the one looking after electoral register. They write to me, where is that from? It's somewhere. They keep on reminding me every year, I'm already registered. But every year, they just write in case there are changes of address. They do that. You don't need to be registering every year, because you people want to be stealing it. If you have a system, centralized system, that all the names of the citizens, they are there. When the child reach, I don't know, in Cameroon, is it 21 years or what? Automatically register the child. It is local council that should be registering people for election, not elecam. It's local council. But we want to put it in a certain body. Everything in Cameroon is centralized. FECOM, centralized, so that they should be stealing money. Elecam, centralized, so that they should be frauding. SNH, centralized, so that they should be stealing money. CRTV, centralized so that they should be stealing money. What other centralization is for what? Centralization simply means they give one person power. One person. How can you control 29 million people? It is practically impossible. If you cannot control your home, you cannot control your tribe, you cannot control 29 million people. We don't want a nanny state. Allow people to be running their home. A good country, people start running a good country inside their home. Mother, father, children, family, that's how you run a country. If you sit in a 2D, think that you will sit there and give instruction to construct road. All you need to do is to make a plan on how to distribute the wealth, when I mean finances, in the Cameroons, and make sure that, taking into consideration the population of the people of the Cameroons, taking into consideration their population, give their own money. Let them decide if they want hospital, airport, road, deep sea port. Let them decide. Let their ethnicity decide. Give them money equally. Your constitution says we are going to distribute the wealth of the country to every individual. You did not even say tribe. You did not say region. You did not say anything. Individual. But you don't do that. There are people who are suffering in the Cameroons. There are people who are starving in the Cameroons. How many jobs have the CNU rebranded CPDM have created since they came to power in 1960? Nothing. You people don't love that country. So, ladies and gentlemen, once more, I come on this party political broadcast to say presidential election in the Cameroons are sans objet, purposeless, aimless, have no objective. People go there to do their beauty contest. And if you keep on doing the beauty contest, at 92 years old, Mr. Biya is still more handsome than all of you, those presidential candidates, so he will still win. Once more, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening, and make sure you share this, my party political broadcast, because whatever I say, some people, it takes them 30 years to understand it. What I'm doing every time, what I say, people don't, some of them, they don't listen because they want to project themselves in front. Then when they get it wrong, they come and start talking like me, nonviolence. The problem I'm saying in British Cameroon National Party, the Dr. Endeli, the Muna, the Foncha, the Mbiles, the Kale, and other political actors in British Cameroon, they use politics to join La République. And we can use politics to get out of La République. We don't need arms. British Cameroon National Party can use politics. They use politics, created political party, campaign, they join AIJO. I will use politics now to take us back to have equal status. Why are you using gun when you can create a minor political party and get all the seats? Common sense is not common. Let common sense prevail. Presidential election in the Cameroons are sans objet. Thank you very much and have a beautiful day. This has been Maître Mola Alex Ndiveli Singer, the leader of British Cameroon National Party. Thank you very much.
Docteur, tout Joseph, professeur à Los Angeles, comment pouvez-vous nommer un individu à un poste pendant 25 ans, 20 ans directeur de TAP, 30 ans, vous partagez le pouvoir avec vos familles, vous partagez le pouvoir avec vos amis, vous partagez le pays avec vos familles, vous partagez le pays avec vos familles. Et après quand ils ont volé, vous appelez les familles, les attrapés. Et après quand ils ont volé, vous appelez les familles, les attrapés. Qui les avait nommés d'abord dans ce poste-là? C'est toi qui les avais nommés, papa. Tu as oublié, tu as seulement oublié. C'est toi qui les avais nommés, oh, tu as oublié. Guélé Raphaël du Kenya. C'est les mêmes qui sont toujours ministres. Ils vont au quartier pour quelque temps et ils reviennent après. Ils font le tour des ministères. Aujourd'hui, ministre de la communication, demain, ministre du sport. À l'Assemblée, il y a un vieux. Au Sénat, il y a un vieux. C'est vieux. À la présidence, il y a un vieillard. À tout le gouvernement, il y a que des vieux. Des vieux, des vieux. Ils ont volé des milliards. Et vous, vous avez
No message, no word yet from the government.
Save 348 pounds on the new Samsung Galaxy S.